Christians sometimes use the word mystery to describe certain aspects of their faith. God coming to us as a human being in the incarnation is a mystery, for instance. But when Christians use the term mystery, they don't mean it in the Sherlock Holmes sense of the word, as in a puzzle to be solved or a secret to be discovered. A mystery is a truth about God that is apparently contradictory, which human reason could never arrive at on its own, and we could only know because God revealed it to us. The Trinity is a mystery in this sense of the word. Like all mysteries of our faith, there is no perfect analogy for the Trinity, no perfect way to represent humanly how God is one single God and at the same time three distinct persons. Sometimes people will compare the Trinity to an egg, which is a single thing, and yet it has three parts, a shell, a yolk, and a white. This analogy fails, however, in that the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit are not just three parts of one God, they are three distinct persons. Sometimes people use the analogy of water, which is one single substance but can appear in three distinct forms: ice, liquid, and steam. This analogy fails too, in that the same water can't be ice, liquid, and steam all at the same time, whereas the three persons of the Trinity are not just three different forms of the same God, but three distinct persons existing at the same time. All analogies are bound to fail, but there is a way to imagine how something could be both three distinct things and at the same time one single thing. Imagine a world that only exists in two dimensions. There is backwards and forwards, left and right, but there is no up or down. The inhabitants of this world are all flat, two-dimensional shapes, circles, squares, and so on. They have no knowledge of the third dimension and no frame of reference for conceiving of up or down. Now, imagine that a three-dimensional being, like myself, entered this flat world. Maybe I reached three fingers of my hand in, for instance. My hand, of course, is one single thing. But as it enters into the two-dimensional world, what will all those two-dimensional creatures experience? Won't they perceive it as three separate circles? Three two-dimensional shapes that are completely separate and distinct and, as far as they can tell, not attached in any way? But what if you or I, who exist in three-dimensional space, were to explain to our two-dimensional friends that these three circles are really one single hand, and if they could only get up above their two-dimensional world, they would understand how these three circles are, at the exact same time, one? Wouldn't they say, "What's up?" Would they even have a frame of reference for making sense of a statement like this, that the three circles they clearly see are separate, are, at the same time, one single thing? This is not really an analogy for the Trinity itself, as much as it is an analogy for how the Trinity is a mystery. If God is the creator of the universe, he must exist in dimensions further beyond us than the third dimension is beyond our imaginary two-dimensional world. And though there is no way for three-dimensional beings like us to conceive of how God could be three distinct persons and at the same time one single God, it's certainly not a blind leap of faith to accept that he is. At any rate, after their encounter with Jesus, whom they worshipped as God, this is what the first Christians came to believe, that God is Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, one God, now and forever.